everything.
Well, yeah, they became a town in 1852, but stayed a town for years. Yeah. Yeah, Jack was the first mayor, but he was the town board president before that.
But yeah, I guess with the river, it probably was a distance, not a lot,
Yeah.
but still.
Yeah, because that would have been the road, because to take that, and then you would start going up the hill to Guilford. Because Ridge Avenue would have been the main road to get to Guilford. Because you didn't have going down to Hardentown down there even though there was a road that went through there, kind of snaked.
Well, I would assume Ridge Avenue and Opening Road, weren't they the original US 50?
Yes.
Yeah, Ridge was, yeah.
They talk about when Morgan's Raiders came in and they were going up through New Alice and all that, and they had the two Union regiments that were down Fort Necessary up there on top of the hill. And they thought Morgan was kind of down there with the bend in the road there, where 50 and 275 is. They each thought each other was Morgan and opened fire on each other, and killed a few of each other before they realized their mistake. And I think it was already in Harrison by that point.
Well, there was another band of his that came.
Oh, that's right. You're big Morgan.
Yeah.
Morgan guy. What am I telling you for?
Part of them come from in Aurora this way up the river.
Oh,
to me. Yeah.
Also, maybe that's
So they had the right area, but just the wrong direction.
wrong direction.
Somewhere that gold is still buried too.
It is. It is. Somebody's field back there probably got a house put on top of it.
Either that or my thought is probably a lot of it got dug up after the war. People came back up.
Oh yes, there you go.
Came back up,
they
dig it.
wouldn't
Make a
have known.
good History Channel show.
I almost did.
Well, this is This is live.
We were. If COVID wouldn't hit, we probably would have.
Really?
Yeah, through History Channel.
You got it
Oh, wow.
turned on.
Yeah. We made friends with Matty Blake on a podcast we do, and he got us hooked up with it. We had phone interview and everything. It was real close.
Looking at it, I think I make it boil any faster.
I started right at 6. This should do it.
It
There
is
it
566.
Hang on. Hey, welcome everyone to the Dearborn County Board of Commissioners meeting, May 20th, 2025. If you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As a recipient of federal funds and in support of Dearborn County's efforts to ensure non-discrimination and equal access to all citizens, the county gathers statistical data regarding participants in county activities. Therefore, we have provided a voluntary Title VI public involvement survey at this meeting. You are not required to complete this survey. However, the form is anonymous and will be used solely for the purpose of monitoring our compliance with Title VI and ADA.
Thank you, Andrew. We do have old business. The Citizens Board, Cemetery Board. The open position has been filled by Julie Saylor. I'd like to see a motion, Kevin, to approve Julie as the newest member to this cemetery board.
Move to approve Julie Saylor to the cemetery board.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, we can put that one to rest,
Yeah.
so to speak. All right, new business, 911 contract fee discussion, Mr. Carstone. Hey, they moved the podium.
Good, didn't
So it can be on camera.
Oh.
Got it.
And you pass it down.
So I've talked to Jim, I've talked to a lot of people. And
Okay.
there's just a couple points I'd like to make, especially to the commissioners. I know Jim's already heard this, but if you don't mind, I'm gonna go over it one more time. So, the 911 call center dispatches on average 29,447 police calls. And I found that out today. I thought it was all calls, but you based it on police calls.
Right.
So a budget of 1.79 million, cell phone fees cover 813,000, which leaves a shortfall to the city or to the county of almost $1 million, $980,000, which Lawrenceburg and Greendale contribute roughly $560,000 to the county for what is deemed their portion of the calls. So the county population is 50,679, and Aurora, Greendale, and Lawrenceburg make up 13,210 residents, or 26% of the county population. But we have the lion's share of the calls, the police calls. So we generate 16,304 calls from our 3 cities, which is 55% of the calls, which is 1.23 calls per resident. It's more than 1 call per resident, which is, if you think about it, is mind-boggling. So Dearborn County, the remainder of Dearborn County, which is 37,500, roughly 500 residents, accounted for 13,000 calls, which is roughly 1 call per 3 residents. So it's not that the city's residents are sicker or are being, terrorized or whatever you want to call it. If you follow the map and apply 1 call for 3 residents for the 3 cities, we would reach 5,435 calls. So if you think about that for a minute, we are being charged the lion's share of the calls because of what goes on in our cities. Greendale has I-275. We also have the bridge, even though it's Boone County's. First thing they do is call Greendale. Kevin can tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
We spend a lot of time on that damn bridge. We also have all the traffic from the intersection to the boat. We take care of all that. We burn a lot of resources on that, as you know as well. Lawrenceburg's got a lot going on. They have the hospital. They also have the nursing homes, which even though these are police calls, I'm sure the police are involved in some of those as well. There's industry, there's tourism, there's the congestion of the Highway 50 traffic, which continues on through Aurora, as we all know now, as they've got the hill shut down. So with that said, we feel that we are being double charged, the 3 cities, Lawrenceburg, Aurora, and Greendale. And the reason we feel that is because the shortfall is made up from the county general fund, which Lawrenceburg, Greendale, and Aurora all contribute to. In fact, 19 cents of every dollar on your property tax goes to the county. So it's not like the county's using the safety lit money to make up the shortfall. They're using county general fund money, which we have all contributed to. So we feel Greendale, Lawrenceburg, Aurora, and in some ways Dillsboro, St. Leon, Morse-Hill, Manchester, West Harrison are all getting the same. So I don't have an answer for this. This is kind of a moving target. Jim will tell you, I know he's given this a lot of thought. But we feel something has to be done. So we've kind of, if you all know Pat Schwing, he's very passionate about this. This is really a very passionate thing to him. So we've kind of thrown some spitballs out there, and I don't know if any of these make sense. They kind of do to me. But one of the options is to pay the shortfall out of the general fund for everybody. That would make it equitable to the entire county population, which we feel this is a county problem, not a 3-city problem primarily. You could add 0.06 to the safety lit. So that is 0.06 on a resident of the county who's making $1,000 a week. We're talking 60 cents. It's negligible. It's almost invisible. But if you sell it to the fact it's for 911, people they can get behind that. They can understand that. I mean, the 911 center is all important, as we all know. But so here's where I'm having a hard time. And Jim's been more than gracious to talk to me about this. I've spent time with Andy. I've spent time at the auditor's office. So the fees that are being charged to the cities are based on the police call volume, correct? So then if that's the case, I feel the safety lit needs to be distributed proportionally. Not how it is today. And I'm gonna get that here in a minute. So as I understand it, the distribution of the safety lit is based on the property levy, correct? That makes no sense to me, but it does. So we're basing the cost of Lawrenceburg, Greendale, and Aurora on the 911 center on calls, but the safety lit is distributed on a property levy. It just doesn't make sense. So that's where it becomes a problem. So I have talked to Randy Maxwell and Garrett spoke out at Dillsboro last night. We've talked to him quite a bit. All things that Randy made very clear to me. The county has the entire responsibility of the 911 call center, and it's up to them to work out the cost of sharing. Furthermore, most counties pay with it from safety lit. And he even went on to say the problem is a county problem, and they have been given the tools to solve it. Again, raising the safety lit. And I know Jim and I've had this conversation. From the county's perspective, they would like to see the cell phone fee double.
Yeah.
And we know that's a problem. It hasn't been touched in 12 years. Every year, the state trader has the right to raise it 10 cents. I believe, right? And he has not done anything for, well, not he, they've not done anything in the last 12 years.
Right.
I can tell you from Randy's perspective, you know, Governor Braun he's not big on raising taxes, as we all know. In fact, he just cut them and it's all hurting us. And that's probably why I'm here today more than anything. You know, we're facing a shortfall of $174,000 next year. And we're just trying to look for every penny. And what makes Greendale unique as well as Lawrenceburg is we're a union shop. We follow a contract and we're bound to the contract. A lot of the mayors I talked to at the mayors meetings probably are gonna freeze wages this year, and I understand why, but I can't do that. I am, again, legally bound to follow the contract. So the other thing, if you look in the second page I gave you, again, the county takes in 10.5 million, the jail gets roughly 3.5 million, the rest of the 7 million is distributed down the way, and you can see the numbers and the percentages from there. But again, it appears to be distributed on a convoluted property levy. And Andy and I talked today. It's hard to figure. It really is hard to figure. But it's not based on population, and it's surely not based on the amount of calls that are generated from the areas. And I think you know that.
I can read you the formula.
No, don't. No.
It's awful.
Yeah, it's a formula.
It's not counted for, no, it's just.
No, it's-
State statute.
yeah,
It's a state
There's a
statute.
formula in the state
It
statute.
comes from a DLGF. It's just
Right.
mandated. It's so you guys don't have much say in that as
Right.
well. The other thing that Dearborn County is unique in, we don't collect 25% of the safety lit we impose.
Right.
So if you're a resident of Dearborn County and you go work in Northern Kentucky or Ohio, and they have a safety lit in place, they can't be double taxed. So they're paying it over there, but that money doesn't come back to the county. So 25% of what we should collect is just in the wind. It just vanishes. So a lot of people aren't aware of that either. And that's unique to where we are in the county or in the state, in this corner. So again, I'm going back to the fact that we're built on a call volume. We're taxed, and nobody knows where the taxes are come from because we just get a pile of money that goes to the county. Am I correct, Jim?
Everything comes to the county.
Right. But we don't know if it's Greendale residents are paying the bulk of it or Lawrenceburg residents or county, we don't know any of that. They don't tell you that. They just tell you the number. and then they tell you how to distribute it based on this formula that the DLGF puts together.
Right.
So that's what makes it tough. So that's where we are today. Looking for a solution tonight. Jim and I, it's,
Yeah, we don't have one.
we don't have one. We truly don't have one. But I know the fact that that Lawrenceburg, Greendale, and Aurora pay the majority of the lion's share doesn't work either. Especially when you look at our residents are making 1.23 phone calls to 911, where the rest of the county is 1 call per 3 residents. So I would appreciate it if we could, I don't know, put a committee together, maybe the 3 mayors and the 3 of you guys, we could sit down and just.
Well, we're not allowed to meet.
I know, well, that's true. Yes,
Yeah.
I don't like it, but that's the way it is.
yes. So, yeah, do you have any suggestions how we could go about this, or?
Well, we've talked before, we've all sat down and talked before, and I think we each have an opinion. I think we believe right now what we put together is equitable.
Okay.
However, in future contract negotiations, we're open to any suggestions that you might put on the table that we could all agree on.
Right.
In the meantime, I think the only option that we have is to try to get legislation in place to have that 911 tax raised. Now, I've met with Hospital Commissioner. Okay. Okay, I know words. Okay. I talked to a commissioner today, mentioned it to him. He was interested in knowing more about that. I know Randy took a look at 8 counties and 6 of the 8 were underwater. And we're underwater almost $1 million.
Yes.
Hadn't been raised in 12 years. So I talked to Tyler, what's his last name? Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's the director of the Commissioners Association.
Tyler Warman.
Yeah, right. I spoke to him about this. He took notes on it. He's traveling around the state.
Right.
So he's gonna bring this up with other counties. So I'm hoping we can build a groundswell that we can then take this to the legislators next year, and hopefully we can be able to push something through. Because that would be, if we could get it raised from $1 to $2, which all along, if you did 10 cents a year, we'd be at that.
Right.
So if we can get that done, that would go a long way of solving our problems.
So, you know.
So that's kind of where we are.
Right, I spoke to the town council, they sent me here, you know how this works, right?
Oh.
Back and forth, circle. And Liz. She had no appetite for raising the safety lit tax.
I know.
And again, we're talking 0.06, it's pennies. And her point was, and she had a valid point, is. First of all, it doesn't get distributed equally, right? Because that 0.06, whatever it generates, $1 million, it would generate
It goes to.
everywhere, right?
It goes to.
But if we all did an interlocal together and saying that 0.06 would make it back to the call center, that's the only reason we're raising the lid, the safety lid. You know, I think we could, St. Leon, I spoke to them last night. Did you see what St. Leon gets out of this? Did you see the number?
I don't get.
Dwayne?
Yeah.
You can't buy stamps with that, Dwayne.
Right. Oh, I know.
And then Dillsboro,
Hopefully it's about 50.
yeah, 58,000, but you guys are under contract with them for 42. So you're taking it all back to pay for their. And. You know, it makes it hard. That's 58,000 is a new cruiser.
Oh,
Yeah, partial, you know, another officer, I don't know. You know, but that's how we see it. So,
I think you've given us a lot to think about here, Vince. Let's keep chewing on it.
well, I appreciate that.
Well, I just, a couple things. I mean, on
Sure,
the same
that's the way.
respect, we're going to the commissioners on the statewide level to get it, to try to push it up.
Mm.
The same could be done with you for the city mayors
Yeah.
around the state. And
Right,
I'm sure you have associations, same as we do. Get with them, start lighting the fire now.
and I have,
Um,
but you and I both know this, it moves at a snail's pace, right?
Right.
It's. nothing gets done quickly in government.
But I think this might, yeah, it's not probably gonna be next year's session, but
Right.
at least get the fire started now. And I know the negatives for you of the interstate, everything is also the benefits for both the cities too. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
the benefit for, there's a negative and a positive.
And the county.
Right, but there's a negative and positive
Right.
for both cities, having the traffic and the people there too, so.
So as I'm learning county government, you guys proposed the budget, correct?
Well, each one of the departments has a budget.
Okay,
Okay.
So think about the
they bring it back to
commissioners as
council.
one department.
okay.
So we have a commissioner's budget that we propose to the county council.
So you're not overseeing the sheriff or the jail or,
No,
No.
anything that deals with money is council.
Yeah.
okay,
Now, I want to say in defense of Liz, there's lots of churn going on now in government and how expenses are kind of being now pushed out to the local level. And I think she feels like she wants to be real cautious at this point until we completely understand what all these changes are going to mean to us and what kind of impact they're going to have. Same thing as you.
sure, yes.
Having just come over from there, I mean, I do understand trepidation and it's a little bit of a shock.
Yes, it's hard.
I mean, the projections are out what the county's gonna lose, so in the next 3 years, and then they don't know what's gonna be 4 years, so.
Well, we're all in that boat, right? I mean, and then in 2028, it's a big reset.
Exactly.
Right.
We don't know what's going to happen.
And when we spoke today, I mentioned, Derek Walker had previously shared with me how Jefferson County handles it. And I pulled it up and I was looking at it and down there, so it's Jefferson County, City of Madison, Town of Hanover.
Mhm.
Madison is 43.5% and the town of Hanover is 3%. I went to school at Hanover, town of Hanover is very small.
Right.
But it's 43.5% to Madison of the allocable proportion. Their definition in their interlocal is capital costs, maintenance, and operational expenses. So Madison's paying 43.5% of that. We are not passing on, or they are not passing on to the cities and towns, any of the capital costs or maintenance. It's strictly the operation.
Right.
So as another example of how someone else handles it, and I think Derek had sent it to me more so about how they had their board set up and things like that.
Mhm.
I'm certainly thinking he wasn't suggesting that we start divvying those up because I think he was with Greendale at the time, but it's just an example. I mean, if there's other examples out there of how it's handled.
Well, I have befriended the mayor of Salem, Justin, and I called him and I asked him how he handled this, and he's the one that told me city residents pay county taxes. He's like, we don't pay it. This is strictly a county thing. So, and one more point. Even if Greendale or Lawrenceburg, and I don't think Aurora would ever do this, wanting to put a dispatch back together again, we can't. Once we gave it up, and it went to the
It
county.
would be cost prohibitive. You're
I
talking.
know that, but
Bunch of
we
money.
can't even do it if we wanted to.
We can only have, and Kevin
Yeah,
can
we
probably
can
speak
only-
more to this.
Yeah.
We can only have one PSAP, which is Public Safety Access Point.
Okay, now that's where we're gonna have a bit of a term difference.
Yeah.
PSAP receives 911 calls. Greendale, Lawrenceburg, and Aurora, when they had their dispatches, never received 911 calls. So they could have their dispatch back. But that you can have it back.
Right.
It would work back the way it did the old days when 911 and then county dispatcher pick up the phone, hey, you gotta fight it.
So all along, you guys handle 911, or county did. I didn't know that.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, and
I will say one thing.
it's all very.
It is very confusing, and I've learned a lot. Just sometimes I feel like I'm chasing my tail, but I have learned a
In
lot.
the club.
Yes. So. I don't know where you'll see me next about this, but it's,
Well, we're going to keep.
Yeah, we'll
We're
just
going to
keep
keep
working
trying
on
to find the right solution so everybody wins.
Okay.
That's what I'm looking for.
maybe someday you and I could go to lunch and we'll sit and talk about all this, Jim, if you don't mind.
Buying.
I'm always buying.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate
Okay. Miss Hayden, you have anything for us?
I do not, but I get to be Miss Fromholm tonight. Sit in for her.
Okay. All right, Miss Farmhole.
So I have claims, there's 3 different sections to sign.
Okay, go ahead. This is claims, motion, going to approve claims.
Motion to approve.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Sorry,
That's okay.
let's move down on the other one.
That's all right. I'm not that kind of guy. There, Kevin.
Thank you.
We're gonna allow you to sign.
In my proper place.
Have payroll.
Kevin, motion to approve payroll.
Move to approve payroll.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
The minutes from May 6th.
All right. Motion to approve, the minutes from Commissioner minutes. For May 6th.
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Mr. Bodensel.
I don't have anything for you this evening.
All right. Seven, Commissioner comments, if any?
Had a happy Dillsborough homecoming, and I'd like to thank the EMA for keeping an eye on the weather. Thankfully, it split us, but we had shelters ready to go, and we actually utilized them and kept some people safe.
Mike, you have anything?
Nothing for me.
Okay, I'm gonna join you in that, and I don't have anything. Is there any late arrival information? Okay, hearing none, public comment, if any? And Kevin, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
Okay. What are you guys doing? Just Eagle Scouts. Okay.